Welcome to Wonka. That is a movie about the origin story of William Wankstein, the famous chocolatier. That is totally different from Johnny Depp's depiction of Willy Wonka, where his dad was an asshole dentist. But anyway, it starts out with him on a boat sailing and arriving at a small town after a 7-year-long life at sea. He's there to start his chocolate making career, and once he gets there, he gets onto the roof of his truck, which is super unsafe, and I don't even know how the driver allowed him to do this, but whatever. It's like a 1950s or 40s time frame where no one gave a shit about this stuff, so who cares. He eventually arrives at the center of town and keeps losing money due to him being a dumbass. Then he fucking hallucinates some shit and dances and daydreams about opening his shop in this place that is for rent, which is apparently a criminal offense. Fucking what? Doesn't matter. He continues singing into the night about how stressful it is to make a dozen sovereigns, which is their local currency, last in this town for one day, which would actually be easy if he wasn't retarded. Then he gives one of his last 2 shekels away to a homeless woman, then loses his very last one because he just had to do a pocket trick shot with it and becomes homeless himself. Further proving my point that he is a dumbass. Regardless, bro's still positive about shit. Finds a bench to call home for the night and pulls some shit off his hat because he's a magician as well on top of a chocolate maker. And because of that and the fact that this is a musical, random people just pop out of nowhere to fucking dance and sing. I'm gonna try and ignore most of the nonsensical shit that happens in this movie. Obviously, I'm gonna fail, but I'm trying my best here, okay? I'm gonna try and focus on other shit, like the fact that this presumably hot chocolate that he just poured froze solid in under 45 seconds. If it really was that level of super Antarctica cold, I feel like he should have died a long time ago of hypothermia. Anyway, this shifty ass dude with a mean dog finds him, sees the predicament that he's in, and offers him a solution. He takes him over to Mr. Scrubbit, who he runs a laundry business with, but also offers to house poor sods like him for 1 single sovereign a night that he can pay off tomorrow. All he has to do is sign this contract. Then Noodle, a little girl that works for them, pops out telling him to read the fine print before he signs it. So he pulls the paperwork out to find a lot of that, but then goes, "That sign can't stop me, cause I can't read," and signs it anyway. Bitch ass Scrubbit then shows him to his room and punishes Noodle for trying to save Wonka from a terrible fate. Next day he wakes up and goes to the Gallery Gourmet and sets up with his magical self-balancing cane to start selling his magical chocolates that make you levitate. He does a whole song and dance about it to attract people's attention, and also attracts the attention of the top 3 chocolatiers of this town, basically the only 3 chocolatiers in this town: Doctor Who Light, Fat Toupee Bitch, and Black Guy, who's their leader, who calls the police onto him, but while he waits for them to arrive, he goes down to try the chocolates with his rivals and find out that it is amazing, but regardless talk shit about it anyway because he's a competition now. Then they start floating away and no one is at all freaked out by this, again because magical musical movie. In fact, people want to try it, so he starts giving out some of his chocolates for other people to try it, and they immediately start floating, unlike the chocolate seller dudes who had a few words to say first and start floating, which is an inconsistency that pisses me off, but whatever. Everybody tries the chocolate, everybody loves it, everybody's floating, and he collects payments for all these chocolates. Noodle is there to watch all this happen, but then the cops come to confiscate all his earnings for disrupting the trade of other businesses and selling chocolate illegally without a permit, IRS type shit. However, they do allow him to keep 1 sovereign to pay for his room, but when he gets back to Scrubbit and Bleachers to do that, he finds out that he's incurred some extra fees for doing dumb shit like using the fireplace to keep warm, and each step he took up to his room was a fee. They keep going on like that, like, "Oh, what, you breathe air on our premises? That's gonna cost you," and it all totals up to 10,000 sovereigns worth of fees. And as per the contract that he signed, he's gonna be their prisoner and work it off till the day he works it off, or dies, whichever comes first. So they throw him down the laundry chute and he meets the others that fell for the dirty trick: accountant guy, plumber woman, phone line lady, and James Gordon, aka blonde, fat, horrible comedian. Please don't ask me what that accent was, I don't know either. They all sing a song while teaching him how to work with them. Then when night comes, Miss Scrub and Shitty Teeth Guy remind them all that they can't leave till they pay off their debt and send them to their shitty living quarters in their shitty rooms that they cannot leave because they're barred up. Wonka walks into his room with water dripping from the ceiling. Noodle comes along like he didn't read the fine print, and he's like, "That's because I can't read." "Yeah, but you still clearly knew it was a bad idea to sign it as indicated by you going, oh, the longer the paper got, you fucking rotting mayonnaise-brained bitch." Also, if he can't read, then how come he read and understood that daydreaming was a criminal offense without the cops speaking? Whatever, she gives him some slop to eat, but he's like, "We ain't eating that shit, bitch. I'm making waffles. I'm making chocolate." He finds out that she never had chocolate in her life before, so he immediately opens up his mini travel factory and gets to making chocolate that's supposed to give them good ideas. And while that is being produced, he tells her about his childhood with his mom, who was a cook, and they both lived together on a riverboat. They were so poor that she could only manage to get him enough cocoa beans to make him 1 chocolate bar a year for his birthday, which he thought was the best chocolate there was, sparking his love for it and giving him the dream of opening up a candy store or chocolate store, what have you, in the Gallery Gourmet. But right after she finished making that last bar of chocolate for him, she died, taking with her the secret to why her chocolate tasted so good. The secret ingredient is love, isn't it? Just fucking watch. It has to be. Or it's either that or some different form of affection or some shit. It's not an actual ingredient that you can taste, just like how KFC's secret spices or whatever don't actually exist. You know what the secret ingredient is? A shit ton of oil and corporate greed. Alright, moving on. His idea chocolate is made. Right as he finishes the story, he only makes 1 of them. She takes a bite and is like, this shit bussin'. Too bad I'll never taste it again though. So he promises her a lifetime supply of chocolate if she smuggles him out every day in her laundry delivery cart. She says it's impossible because Mrs. Scrubbit, or Miss Scrubbit, is it? I always get confused between Miss and Mrs. which one is one year married. Doesn't fucking matter. Scrub it, bitch. Always be watching them like a hawk. But then the idea of chocolate kicks in, and she remembers that one time a exotic aristocrat came over and she got super distracted by him and stuck to him like flies on trash. So all they have to do is replicate that and they're golden. So Wonka himself takes a bite of his idea of chocolate, which is fucking impossible because he only made one and she finished it. Also, the buckets full of dripping water on the floor seem to no longer be an obstacle for him walking around the room, as he's only seen avoiding them twice, once in the beginning where he entered the room, and in my opinion took the wrong way to avoid them. This path is clearly more straightforward than easier. Why the fuck are you going that way? And another time while throwing away the slop. Anyway, he gets an idea, and that idea is to trick Miss Bullshit into thinking that Mr. Crapteeth has aristocrat blood in him or whatever, so she'll fall in love with him and drop her guard. Boom, you have a window to sneak out every day. While they were having that conversation, we see Chief of Police Officer Key go to a secret meeting underneath the church. He goes into the confession box where Father Bean is, pulls a secret lever, sending him down a secret elevator shaft into a secret lair where the three chocolatiers are, who on the outside are bitter rivals but in secret have formed an alliance to keep out the competition, keep the prices high, and the products shitty, just like the Phoebus cartel. I encourage everybody watching to look that up. And they bribed Officer Key to get rid of Wonka, but they want him to do more than that because Wonka's chocolate is too good and very cheap, which means that even poor people can afford it. How disgusting. They want him to roughen him up and threaten to kill him if he doesn't stop selling chocolate. Initially, Key refuses, but then after they sing a bit and offer him 1,800 boxes of chocolate as a bribe, he agrees. And next morning, as Mr. Bletch is taking roll call, Wonka hints to him that Scrubba is into him, so he's like, "You what, mate? She totally wants to slob on your knob. Just take a bath, show some skin, and she'll be all over you." Then we see Miss Rubbish yelling at Noodle, who's holding a crude drawing that Wonka made of Mr. Bleach that says he's a Bavarian aristocrat on it. Noodle says she got it from this professor laundry client of theirs who's studying aristocrats or some shit like that. Scrubba drinks that Kool-Aid and believes that he's an exotic Bavarian aristocrat, so when he comes out wearing man-whore clothes, acting all schmexy to attract her, it works. And while the Rubbish Can lovebirds were falling for each other, Wonka was busy inventing a machine that would do laundry for them that's powered by Bleacher's dog. I'm not wrong in saying that this is a dog-powered washing machine, right? Anyway, with work taken care of, he gets smuggled out by Noodle, promising his fellow inmates that he'll be back before roll call. Noodle gets him into a safe spot, gives him the all clear to get out, so he does, and gets all excited to sell his chocolate. But then he finds his jar empty, claiming that the small orange man that steals my chocolate in the night must have come again. She's like, "Dude, what? Are you high?" "No, he is." "Hey, you have no proof of this claim, bitch." Wonka apologizes and they just move on from the small orange choco thief and tells her that they can simply make more chocolate, but he's all out of giraffe milk, so they'll have to get more. So they go over to the zoo at night and use some chocolate that was not stolen to give to the security guard as a quote-unquote gift from zoo management. He falls for that and eats it, and this chocolate has a bunch of side effects, but the most important one and the last one is that it knocks him out. And once it takes effect, they enter the zoo. Is it normal to only have one guy guarding the whole zoo at night? Doesn't matter. They get into where the animals are kept at night and open the giraffe enclosure. Wanker gives the giraffe some mints and is like, "If Noodle gives you chin scratches, will you trust us enough to touch your titties?" "No problem, I'm a hoe anyways, just don't forget to sub to my OnlyFans." He starts milking it while talking to Noodle and asking her about the origin of her name. See, she's an orphan that just showed up at Scrubbit's place as a baby, so like the good people they are, they slapped her with a 30k debt and raised her to be a slave and work for them basically. And when it came to naming her when she was a baby, they found her with a ring around her neck that had the letter N on it, so they named her JK, but you know that's what they would have named her in this time frame if this movie was even slightly accurate to that fact. And they've basically enslaved her, so don't get mad at me, get mad at history, you dumb c***s. Anyway, they named her Noodle because of the N. She always hopes she'd find her mom in a house full of books. Wonka promises her to get her out of the wash house someday. Then she starts singing about hope or the lack of it or some shit. He finishes squeezing the giraffe's mommy milkers, then joins in. They run out and install up movie physics onto their movie and use all these balloons with super helium in them to walk on water, then fly away and dance on the Gallery Gourmet. That rhymed. Then they end up at the town square fountain with police guy Key coming over, so Wonka sends Noodle away with her precious milk while Key violently threatens him and tells him that if he doesn't stop making chocolate, he'll kill him, then lets him go. Wonka comes back to Scrubbit and Bleachers meets his fellow inmates who all took a break for the day because his invention was so productive that it did everybody's work. And they start asking him questions like,
"Where have you been?
And why do you smell of giraffe?"
"Bitch, how you know what giraffes smell like?" Doesn't matter. He explains he's a chocolate maker that wants to sell chocolate to pay off Scrubbit, then open a store and shit. The accountant figures that that's not gonna work because the cops will always stop him. He knows this because he was Slugworth's accountant for a short while, and while working for him, he found out that he has two sets of ledgers, one for legal activities and this green one for illegal activities. He read it and found out that the three so-called rivals formed a chocolate cartel, watered down their chocolate pool together and stored the excess beneath the church and used it to bribe, blackmail, and bludgeon the competition. This is all protected by corrupt church monks and a vault protected by an underground ninja. Skunkworth found out that the accountant saw the green ledger and fired him instead of killing him, now that he knows this very secret hypersensitive information that can end his career. What a moron. Anyway, the cops are in their pocket. He can't get a shop without selling chocolate, and he can't sell chocolate without getting a shop. It's kind of like the job market meme. So with his back up against the wall, he decides that the secret ingredient to his chocolate is going to be crime. And at night, he gives Noodle some chocolate through their prison windows, and they start discussing how to sell chocolate without getting caught. Plumber Woman then comes out of her window telling them that she can help because she knows the storm drain sewer system stuff, and they can use it to escape when the cops come once they catch them selling chocolate, and she'll help them with that if they cut her in on the action. The rest of the inmates also wake up and offer their help. How do Scrubbit and Bleacher not hear this conversation? Do they sleep in a different building? Actually, they're probably busy fucking, so makes sense. Anyway, we then get a song and dance montage of Wonka covertly selling chocolate till the police catches him, then he escapes into storm drains. He sells confidence chocolate, dance chocolate, hair growth chocolate. Noodle teaches him how to read, while the accountant calculates that their profits are through the roof. roof, their stonks are all the way up, till one day after abandoning his collapsing chocolate stand and disappearing down a storm drain, the cops find a piece of his clothing stuck in the manhole cover. So Chief of Police Key puts one man on each stormhole drain cover. Then in the middle of that night, the little orange man comes again to steal Willie's chocolate, but this time he was prepared and set up a trap for him, catches the little midget, not so midget, traps him in a jar, wakes up, and formally gets introduced to Hugh Grant Loompa, who was stealing from him because years ago Wonka came to Loompa Island and unknowingly stole all of their very hard to grow and very precious cocoa beans, of which there were 4, while he was asleep on guard duty. So all the other Oompa Loompas exile him basically and task him to go get back what Wonka stole 1,000-fold, and then he'll be allowed to come back. He then tricks Wonka's gullible ass into letting him go, beats him up with a frying pan, steals the baked chocolate, and gets away. Next morning he explains what happened to his friends and that they have no chocolate to sell today because it got stolen. They don't believe him, but it doesn't matter because they surprise him by renting the shop that he always wanted. So now he can sell chocolate legally without being bothered by the cops. The place is a dump, but it's got good bones, and he's ecstatic with this news. They are then spotted using the storm drains by the cops and Slugworth, which makes no sense to me because they should only be using it when the cops come, and the cops only come when they're selling chocolate, and the cops only know that he's selling chocolate when a huge crowd amasses around him, and they can't sell any chocolate because they don't have any chocolate. And even if this was taken from a different day when he made more chocolate, he's presumably not selling it because he's too busy fixing up the place and making chocolate for that place. All that being said, maybe the storm drain system is just too convenient not to use. Whatever, they fix up the shop and fill it with a bunch of edible chocolate and candy objects like edible flowers, bushes, clouds, and so on and so forth. By the way, since Wonka only uses giraffe milk, did they consume the soul of Abigail, that one giraffe? They must have milked that bitch dry. Anyway, he introduces the public to the store through song and dance. Everyone is stoked as balls, eating everything and buying lots of shit. But then some of his customers start getting adverse side effects. Their hair and skin start changing color, women start growing beards. So Wonka tastes the flowers and notices that there's Yeti sweat in there, the strongest hair potion in the world, apparently. And he didn't put it in there, so he announces to everybody that some of his shit has been poisoned and to not eat anything. They all get hella mad at him because it's kind of too late now, bitch. Then they get violent, destroy some shit, and set the place ablaze. So his friends get to work putting the fire out, and after they accomplish that, they find him very depresso espresso, which is now a shirt you can buy from me, by the way, link in the description. They give him a moment alone, then the 3 chocolatiers come in, and he correctly guesses that they're the ones that sabotaged his operation. You see, Officer Key told him that Wonka was based out of Scrubbits Wash, and the little delivery girl has been sneaking them out, which immediately stands out to Scallywag Worth, which obviously means that Noodle is his daughter or like related to him somehow, and he really hates her and wants her in Scrubbits Wash permanently, and that's why she's stuck there. Very easy read. Dude then dismissed any further help from the cops, went to Scrubbitch and bleached asshole guy, tells her what's going on. She was too busy fornicating to notice anything happening. Then he gives her the ingredients to mess with Wonka's candy that she somehow applied either to the finished product or in the process of making the chocolate and the candies. They are there now with an offer. They're going to pay off not only his debt but also all his friends' debts to Scrubbit so they can all go free. In exchange, he leaves town forever and never ever makes chocolate again. He agrees because he promised that he'd free Noodle one way or another. They send him off at night and goddamn, I can't see fucking shit. I know this is a nighttime scene, but did no one tell them that this is a movie and they can make it brighter in post? Hold on, let me fix it. Too much. There we go. They put him on a boat and send him away. Humpa Grant Loompa follows him because he still owes him one last jar of chocolate and he'll wait here patiently in his mobile cocktail bar till he makes it. He also calls him a pussy ass bitch for not standing up to these bullies, but Wonka says that he had no choice. Then he notices that as a result of Mr. Cook's very strong and firm business handshake goodbye, his family ring left an imprint on his hand. What kind of dumbass words the ring pointing inwards? Doesn't matter, Slugworth does. And the ring looks very familiar to the ring that Noodle has, except for a different letter, which gives Wonka a brain baby that makes him think that she's in danger, so he runs up to the captain to tell him to turn the ship around, but when he opens the door, he finds a bunch of TNT dynamite. So they both jump off and the boat explodes right after. And we cut to next morning with Scrubbit where Noodle is indeed in danger because as a result of Wonka's sacrifice, all his friends get freed, but she stays because Slugworth paid her and Bleach Guy to keep Noodle there indefinitely. Scrubbit is a real bitch about it and rubs it in her face, so Noodle goes, well, you know what? Mr. Bleacher isn't even a Bavarian aristocrat. We made that shit up. You've been fucking a common peasant this whole time, you dumb slut. So a pissed Slugworth puts her in the pigeon coop as punishment, but then William Wanker shows up. He swam back to shore, found his released inmate friends, got a goofy ass Johnny Depp-esque ladder, and is now using his multi-tool to take the chicken coop apart and save her. The rest climb up as well, which is insanely unbelievable because how the hell did Wonka not vibrate while they were climbing up? And how the fuck does the ladder support all that? No, I don't care. Moving on. Wonka's like, Noodle's never gonna be safe till Slugworth is behind bars, so they come up with a plan to steal the green ledger from the vault underneath the church and give it to the appropriate authorities to prove that he's dirty. He frees Noodle and they commence with the plan which goes as follows. Noodle slips some of the giraffe's favorite mints into Father Bean's pocket while the rest drug the zoo guard again and steal the giraffe. Okay, it's morning now. He can't be the only guard on duty that day. If not guards, other people, cleaners, people that take care of the animals and feed them and shit. For fuck's sake, where are the people? Doesn't matter. They transport Abigail the gay raft to the church and set it loose to cause havoc and chaos, and when Bean calls the cops for help, they intercept the call pretending to be the cops, saying that they're sending over the zoo control or pest control, whatever. Animal control, yeah, that's the one. But then they show up instead pretending to be that. They enter the empty cathedral that was emptied because everybody's afraid of the giraffe, and it's a cathedral by the way, not a church. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing though. They now have free reign on the inside and can do whatever the fuck they want, so they send Wonka and Noodle down the secret elevator while the rest take the giraffe away. Wonka and Noodle drug the guard downstairs and lock her out. then enter the vault, search around for the green ledger till they, by complete bullshit accident, find it in a secret compartment in the wall. But then the 3 chocolatiers walk in with a gun because Slugworth heard this giraffe crap happening on his car radio, immediately got suspicious and rushed over here. Wonka then goes, Noodle is not just a random peasant, is she? She's family. And he's like, yes. Called it, and explains that the ring she has with an N on it isn't an N, it's a Z, and it stands for her father's name, which is Zibbity, goofy ass name. He died, leaving Slugworth sole heir of the family fortune, but 9 months later, Owen arrived at his doorstep with a baby claiming to be Zibbity's kid. She came to his rich brother for help because the baby's sick and she's super poor. However, his greedy ass doesn't want to share the family fortune with this new fucking born bitch right here, so he just dropped her down the laundry chute of Scubbit, gave the woman some money and told her that the baby died. Then somehow Noodle survived all this, grew up, and now we're here. Slugworth then takes the ledger and forces them into their chocolate storage vault where he intends to kill them by drowning them in chocolate. Just shoot them, for fuck's sake. Oh yeah, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot that every movie villain is contractually obliged to at least once try and kill the protagonist in a super slow and stupid way that leaves a lot of room for an escape attempt. My fucking bad, retard. Anyway, Wonka asks them to do one final request for him. They oblige and he tells them that he wants to give this jar of chocolate to the little orange man. Little orange man? What the fuck? Whatever, just hand it over, fine. But they don't believe in the little orange man, so they just eat it on the way up. They even give Father Bean a piece of the chocolate to keep him quiet. While the chamber starts filling up with more and more chocolate, they rise up to the window at the top and bang on it for help, except they keep changing positions between shots. I can tell that from Noodle's sleeves, as you can see here, she switches positions. But anyway, the chocolate consumes them, and right as that happens, Hugh Grant Loompa shows up and takes revenge on everybody that took the chocolate that was meant for him. He knocks out Mr. Bean, goes down the secret chute, flies over in his bat suit to the chocolate vault, and drains the entire vault of the chocolate reserves by pulling the emergency drain, in the process saving Noodle and Wonka. She finally sees him and believes Wonka. They get out and get the green ledger. That dumbass Worth put the thing back in the same hiding spot. What an idiot. They give it to a good cop who finds out that he is a corrupt cop, so he places him and the 3 chocolatiers under arrest, who all try to escape, but then the delayed reaction make you float chocolate that they just ate take effect. They start floating away, grab onto this fountain, but then Wonka reroutes the hot chocolate that just got drained to come out of the fountain, and it blasts out. They fucking fly off into space and probably die. He adds some ingredients to the chocolate to make it his own and invites everybody to drink from it. And isn't that technically the Oompa Loompas chocolate that he was owed because it's 1,000? You know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter. He shares chocolate with the world and hallucinates his dead mom. Finally opens her final chocolate bar that she made for him, and sees a golden ticket in it where she wrote for him the secret to why her chocolate tastes so good. Finds out that the secret is sharing the chocolate with other people. Called it ×2. Sharing is caring is another form of affection. Fuck you, I called it. By the way, how's that chocolate not moldy and expired? That bitch died years ago. Whatever. He shares that chocolate bar with his friends. Then they locate Noodle's mom, find out she works at a library. Noodle is fucking besotted by herself when she reunites with her birth giver. Wonka then builds a new chocolate factory on the ruins of an old castle and hires Yoompa Grant Loompa to be his taste tester. The rest go back to their normal lives. Also, Scubbit and Bleacher get arrested. This movie gets 69 Great Danes out of 32 severed raccoon thumbs.